Today on Marvel Movie News, we're going to break down everything that was revealed at D23. I'm talking Eternals, Black Widow, She-Hulk, Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, What If? There's so much. And also, we'll have to check in on how Spidey's doing in his new MCU-less life. This is Marvel Movie News.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's Marvel Movie News.
Hey,
Hi,
guys.
everybody.
Welcome back to Marvel Movie News. This is Marvel News, the best place to get all the talk on everything Marvel. We are coming to you live from the line for D23 for Disney Plus subscriptions that's been going since D23.
Oh, buddy, I'm in line and I'm ready.
Oh, I've already bought mine.
Wow.
Did you buy the 2 years and get the third year?
I did.
Okay,
We'll talk
great.
about that deal. We're going to
Yeah.
talk about that deal. We're going to talk about all the new Disney Plus shows that are coming, all the updates on Eternals, Black Widow, so much stuff that came out of D23. There's a Black Panther piece of news, as in like, why we didn't even need to know. You could have told something else, guys. But we'll break that all down today. Who are we? I'm Zach Wilson. That's Xia Anderson.
Hello, hello.
And that's Christian Bladt.
Hello, hello.
You just copied me.
We've got Ryan in the booth. We got Colt Badeau helping us out on the social medias from the Star Jammer up in the sky. Stop pointing at stuff on the computer, Xia.
It's funny.
We're just trying to, engage with our audience in our live chat.
No, and we've got all you guys in live chat. Let us know what you're thinking, what you're excited about most from the news that we're going to go over today. I say we just get started because, my God, there's a lot of news that they dropped on us this week. Why don't we start in the world of movies, and we'll get to those big Disney Plus shows as we get into the show in TV time. Are you guys excited for the Eternals?
I am. I'm getting more and more excited. The fact that they cast Kit Harington, I'm excited about. I feel like he's just relieved to get a role after Game of Thrones. He's like, oh my God, I got something else.
Did he really leave Game of Thrones, though? Well, we still haven't said the news, Xia.
All right, go on. Kit Harington got cast in the Eternals.
So yes, Kit Harington will play. I know Christian's excited about this.
Yes, about the role in particular he's playing. I questioned about whether or not he was going to get cast as anything, because if you remember when he hosted SNL, he shaved, and everybody was like, "Oh wait, no, we don't actually want him for anything."
Please grow your hair back on your face.
So Kit Harington will be playing the Black Knight, but not just any Black Knight. Christian, this is your favorite
This
Black
is my
Knight,
Black
right?
Knight.
Why don't you give us a little bit about Mr. Whitman?
This is Dane Whitman, who is the Black Knight as far as I'm concerned, although technically I believe he's Black Knight 3.
Yes.
So Black Knight 3D, if you will. But he was the Black Knight that was a primary member of the Avengers throughout the late 80s and into the early 90s, I think, even. And that's the era where I was reading. So just how Monica Rambeau is my Captain Marvel, Dane Whitman is my Black Knight, but he's also one of my favorite characters. And I know we had rumors that we might have seen him earlier in, I think Endgame was one of the crazy rumors we had. So I'm just glad we're finally getting him, though.
Well, that was the big thing, is that all that rumor was based on was that Marvel had put out one of their re-release comics. They do this a lot where they'll put out the classic books for like $1. You can buy a reprint. And they had put out a whole bunch about Endgame, and they had held a bunch back because they didn't want to. They thought that putting them out now would tip the hat towards stuff in Endgame, and I don't even remember what most of them were. But the big one was that one of them was the first appearance of the Black Knight.
So everybody's like, oh my God, the Black Knight's going to be in a movie, guys.
Yeah, well, apparently they were right, because it's official that Kit Harington will be joining the Eternals movie as Dane Whitman, the Black Knight.
This is exciting. This is really exciting news.
It's a little on the nose, though, right?
A little bit. He's tiny, but hey, he's in the MCU now, so I mean, it's fine.
When they first said that Kit Harington was going to be joining the MCU, this was a rumor late last week. What did you guys think? Who did you think he was going to be playing?
Oh, honestly, I didn't know. Go ahead,
Well, the
Christian.
big rumor that I never for a second thought was accurate was that he would be Wolverine. Because you just want to talk about on the nose. I'm like, oh, because he's like got a beard and you know, I mean, he's
short.
I was gonna say he's the right height if you're gonna go for a comic accurate Wolverine.
It didn't feel on the nose for Wolverine. That would have been a surprising one because he doesn't feel like that doesn't feel like you're casting another Hugh Jackman. That feels like you're going in a different direction.
Which I think they have to do. But I also just feel like we're nowhere near announcing or even sitting down for who might be a Wolverine.
Yes.
You know, so that's actually why I was just like, no, I don't think so. I'm not even saying that he was a bad choice. You know, I just, you know, because I think there's other rumors that like to float around out there, like the kid from High School Musical. And I'm like, all right, now that's Zac Efron. I'm like, okay, that you're just being silly. So he would have been better than that. But
agreed.
Yeah. So when I heard that though, I did start to think like, well, who would he be? And I did not come up with the Black Knight.
Because it was too on the nose?
No, just because, well, I mean, yeah, I guess, you know, it's like well, now he's what could he be next? A Black Knight? No, that's crazy.
A sword wielding. Sorry, go ahead.
No, they literally just took him from playing a dark, brooding like knight who takes the black. That's literally what he does. He takes the black and becomes a knight of the wall.
Yeah.
And now he's the Black Knight. Like.
Are they going to make him shave for this? Or are going to be like, no, you actually have to keep the facial hair, otherwise people are not going to like you?
That's a good question.
I'm curious. I am curious to see that actually.
So Christian, what is the origin of of Dane Whitman, the Black Knight? He's like the third. He like picks up. He has a powerful sword, right?
Is he the one that picks it up from his uncle, who's actually a villain? Is that storyline, or is that a different one?
Well, now you're confusing me because I think so. But when you asked it as a question, I don't want to get him wrong because there's so many. So I'm going to have to go through making sure that I get it right.
Make sure you're on the right Black Knight,
right? Because I know it's definitely Dane Whitman.
Yeah.
And so let's see. He was mistaken for his uncle. So that is actually So that part is absolutely right.
He's attacked by the Avengers, thinking that he is a villain because his uncle was the Black Knight, the villain. But then it's like, no, I was just I'm using the power for good, and so he becomes an Avenger. But it sounds like he'll become an Eternal now.
Yeah, so that was the thing that I was surprised. I'm like, is he an Eternal, or is this character in the Eternals not as an Eternal? I would assume he's an Eternal. So that's completely changing the fact, you know, that he's a guy who's from Massachusetts.
I don't think so.
I think that there are no Eternals from Massachusetts. I'm just putting it out there.
What? They weren't born in Massachusetts in like 18-something, whenever that happened?
I think happened in Salem. It was just the Eternals.
You know what? That's not a bad theory.
I would say, I would gamble that he isn't an Eternal. Because they've teased that this is just the first appearance of this character and that he's going to go on to do more movies. And they may be planning a Black Knight movie, which is crazy, but we've also got a Shang-Chi movie coming and any number of like...
Do you also think it's possible that eventually in the future we'll get just a different lineup of the Avengers? They'll give us the Avengers, but just a completely different lineup. So maybe they're just slowly building towards that.
And Dane Whitman is a former Avenger. It would make sense for him to be for them to build to that.
Yeah. I don't know if they've ever been as Avengers at the same time, but has Beast and Black Knight ever worked together?
I don't think that they really overlap because the Beast was by the time that the Black Knight was on the Avengers, he was a new Defender. But, you know, I would love to see wherever they want to put Hank McCoy, if they want him to be a Defender, an X-Man, an Avenger, a Champion, whatever they want, great. I just want to see him anywhere.
I love Hank McCoy. I don't think anyone can ever be a better Hank McCoy than Kelsey Grammer in my head, because it was just so good, such good casting.
What about David Hyde Pierce? Because he's basically the same actor.
Just a smaller version?
Yeah.
He's a scrawny dude. Like, Kelsey Grammer, just like, because he's like a tall guy, and he has some mass to him.
He's absolutely built right.
It's just like, it was unbelievably perfect casting. I still hear his voice when I read Beast in the comics.
That's
it took over that role for me. Anyway, moving on with the Eternals, some more casting. You got Barry Keoghan is going to be joining as Druig, who is a sort of Russian. As when we meet him in like Game is Run, he's kind of a villain. He's a villain. So we'll see what that means that he's involved. We also confirmed Gemma Chan who we talked about previously, is like she might be in it. She will be playing the role we put for every other actress that we've tried to cast in the Eternals. Gemma Chan will be playing Cersei.
I feel like they did that on purpose because everybody was talking about Cersei and casting it Cersei. So they're like, we're going to give you Cersei last. We're going to make you think she's not in the movie. Right. I like that casting choice, though. I love Gemma Chan. I think that this is going to be good.
Yeah, and we talked last week about the idea of Gemma Chan playing 2 roles in the MCU, like not that far apart, but both feature films.
Well, I think that she was disguised enough in Captain Marvel that I think that this is, personally, I think it's okay. Some people might have an issue with it. I don't.
Do you think that they'll feel the need to explain why these 2 characters look the same? Because that's sort of like a very like Star Trek thing to do, where something doesn't make sense. You're like, no, we have to take the time to explain it, or people are going to lose their minds.
I don't think so, because those 2 movies are not going to intersect the same way. Yeah. So it's not like having to explain why Peter Capaldi's face is on 2 different characters in Doctor Who, where like he met someone with his face.
Right.
That character met somebody with the new face that he has. Yeah. And they used it as part of the storyline and leaned into it, but I think you just ignore it from here because she won't be blue. So it's like, sure, they maybe looked alike, but one of them is blue and Kree.
And I somehow doubt that she's going to appear in any of those other movies now that she's in this one.
No.
So it's not going to, I don't think it's going to be an issue.
That character from Captain Marvel, one that was in the 1990s, so that character's already older, and it's fine.
And am I correct that she died, right? They killed her?
Did they?
Minerva? I thought she was dead.
I didn't think Minerva died.
Let's put it this way. She's dead now.
Yeah.
She's not coming back.
Some other headlines about the Eternals. They confirmed that the Eternals is going to feature an LGBTQ character who is, they didn't say who it was.
Yeah, that was what I was interested in.
But they dropped that person is going to be married with a family in this movie. And there's weird debate online. They're like, well, turns out this is going to be the first one before like Valkyrie does it. And I'm like, yeah, but we already met Valkyrie.
Yeah.
So she is the first LGBTQ character, but guess what? That's not her defining characteristic. Her sexuality is just a part of her, and we didn't even need to talk about it for her other movies.
Right. And I could be wrong. Some people might feel differently, but I kind of feel like that's how it should always be. It should never define the character. It should just be a part of, does your, or even my relationship, it doesn't define who I am.
Yeah.
It's just a part of my life, and then I have all these other things going on, and I feel like that's kind of the point.
That's why I was like, why are we grabbing headlines with like, no, the Eternals is going to do it first. It's like, the Eternals is going to be the first to put it on screen, which is fine. That's great. But we'll see which character it is. I'm not going to bother with predictions.
No,
you guys are
I think it's different
it.
because it's such like an ancillary thing. I think like when they told us that Macquarie was going to be deaf, I was like, well, that's important. I think that's a good point to make because that does define who the character is. The character is going to function differently. This character, whomever it is, it's not going to make a difference.
Yeah,
so.
They just go home to their family, and it's good. It's just it's their family. Have them it be their family.
And then we got a look at, this was the cool thing that they dropped on us. We got to look at all of the costumes for the Eternals, like the ones that had been announced, and like we could see they brought out the cast and put them each out under their costumes. You can check it out up there. It looks, this is gonna be some weird stuff. They're all like in skin tight jumpsuits. They look like the freaking comic book characters.
Yeah.
Love it. That's how you got to do it. I'm excited for this, and it just makes sense. You're in that skin. Like honestly, if you're like running around fighting crime and flying all over the place and moving around a lot, you're gonna want to be in something spandexy that moves. I'm just saying. Like, I think about that often.
But unfortunately, it doesn't breathe, and at the end of the day, somebody has to launder that garment. So, maybe something a little breezier.
Or maybe the Eternals maybe it just self-launders. You don't know.
Oh.
That's true.
Yeah, wow.
I mean, look, if Nike can make sweat wick technology, who knows
you think
what the Eternals
have that kind of technology? I think only Nike has it.
I think they have sweat neutralizing technology. They've got Adidas of the future, guys.
Oh, man.
I'm spreading out my brand recognition here.
No, but that's all right.
So I think it looks cool. They keep teasing this like Kirby vision.
Yeah.
Like this Kirby inspired vision for the Eternals, and I'm excited. I'm excited to see what that is going to turn into.
I feel like I'm going to need to get started on the Eternals before this. Actually, what have you read a lot of Eternal stuff?
The main run that I'm familiar with is the Neil Gaiman run, which I would highly recommend to anyone who wants to jump in on the Eternals, because it does let you start there. It's not the beginning, but it is a clean entry point.
I'm curious to see what people's opinions are, because sometimes being someone that loves to read so much, and you can a lot of times be very disappointed, not that this is going to happen in this case, but be very disappointed by an on-screen adaptation of a book that you love. So sometimes I think it's better to read a comic book or a book after the movie comes out. Or before, I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think for me, usually it depends on how excited I'm continuing to get. And it's like, I've read these characters, like the one that I read, there's a 12-issue limited series, I think from 1985. So I think Walt Simonson either did the covers or did the whole art. So that's the one that I've read. And the one that Zach often references is one I plan to read before the movie. I'm just like, but if I read it now, will it still be in my head by the time the movie comes around?
Wait.
But yeah, I think it's a good idea to find some story, and I think either one of these are a good entry point to just be familiar with the characters. I don't think that the adaptation is going to be particularly literal from any of the source material. I think
so
that
just don't get your hopes up.
Nope. Stop it.
That was me talking.
That was everybody wanted to hear Christian a second time, and Zach knew
Want to
that.
hear me in Quadrophenic sound.
But let's move on to Black Widow.
Black Widow. That's what we're getting the soonest.
I think I'm still yammering on in the background.
All right, Christian, calm
Stop
down.
talking, Christian.
I can't believe me.
I wanted to see what the chat was saying. But let's move on.
Telling me to shut up.
Don't you talk that way to Christian. Let's move on to Black Widow. The big news was we didn't get a ton of new information or anything. There's still that because they said that the first teaser we're gonna get isn't gonna be until December.
Oh, come on. That's our Christmas present.
Is there a big Disney property that has a movie in December that this might be at the beginning of? I can't think of anything that's coming out in December that might be paired with.
There's not. It's not. There definitely isn't the 9th of anything.
All right. Well, they'll find something.
Yeah.
Maybe a Fox movie. They'll put it at the beginning.
That'd be super ironic. It'll be before New Mutants.
I know it's not on your list, but apparently the version that they're testing right now, people are liking a lot more.
I did see that.
Okay.
It was small
because you brought it up. I
it was a busy week, and it's like rumor, conjecture, and it's like. But yes, the New Mutants supposedly.
I need to see this movie already. I don't care if it's the worst thing I've ever seen.
For the love of God, put it out.
People didn't hate the latest cut.
Hey, that's
news.
Huge news.
But back to Black Widow, we got this poster that they put out. They put out a bunch of posters for stuff that's coming up soon, and this one of Black Widow has a bunch of fun little secrets in it, including you get a nice look at Natasha up top, but you can see Yelena Belova, I believe. I always screw up these names.
That's
over
close enough.
Over her on the left, but on the right. You have David Harbour, what is very clearly David Harbour, as not Taskmaster.
Correct.
I am vindicated because he is dressed as the Red Guardian.
Yeah.
And apparently they showed some footage where you can see him as this old kind of retired Red Guardian, this Captain America-esque character that the Soviets had made, and this is probably him just exhausted as an old man because his super soldier serum, if he has one, is not as effective.
Because it's Russia? Is that what you're trying to say, Zach?
No, because it's a knockoff.
Well, it's a knockoff. Yeah,
no, I know. It was their answer to
it's like any pair of shoes or handbag that you own. It's just a knockoff brand. It's not as nice as the other one.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that the stuff that I have isn't even as good as a knockoff.
It's the
brand.
knockoff of the knockoff.
Yeah, it's the knockoff of the. I'm 2 levels down.
You didn't go to Chinatown. You didn't go to Canal Street to get it. You had to go to the next street over from Canal Street.
No, I ordered it off of Amazon, where it just came from China. It's just somewhere.
But so you can see David Harbour there, but that doesn't mean that Taskmaster is not in the movie. It has already been confirmed, and you can see Taskmaster right above Natasha's head in the red shadow. And
who is that?
I'm so curious. They've literally put a major villain in, and yes, it's possible that Taskmaster could be David Harbour after maybe he gets a super soldier serum of some kind, or who knows, maybe he reinvents himself. But they're actually building some mystery about who's in that suit.
Do Do you think they're going to tell us, or they're just going to wait until the movie comes out and find out?
I would love if they didn't tell us.
I actually would like that too. That'd be fun.
I think it'd be fantastic.
It's like that stuff, because that's the sort of fun, like, you see it a lot in like more comedic roles where like somebody is like a small cameo, but where if you can hold the suspense for like, you get those moments where like Brad Pitt played the Vanisher.
That was fantastic.
That was
brilliant,
really
and you never see it coming.
Yeah.
Or another, you can debate this example, but the reveal of Johnny Depp in Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, the first one.
Oh, okay.
Because
gotcha.
it was Sean Penn, and then he like turned into Johnny Depp. Now, frankly, I could have done without that particular story-wise. I could have done without that shift. I think Sean Penn was way better in that, or not Sean Penn. Somebody help.
Sorry. This is Zia's
I've seen
Colin
this.
Farrell.
Colin
so
Farrell.
not Sean. By the way, when you said
I was
reveal,
like, wait, what?
When you said reveal of Johnny Depp, I was thinking like, oh yeah, 21 Jump Street. That was awesome. That he showed up at the end.
Colin Farrell was playing Grindelwald, and then they
That's
changed
right.
him into Johnny Depp, and like I would have rather we left Colin Farrell in that role
I
for a
actually
number of
agree with
reasons.
you.
But
So would Colin Farrell.
Not about that. I'm not going to talk about the quality of that movie, but
but
the
actual
idea that like you
surprises,
could surprise us with that reveal, I would love if they just didn't we're able to hold that secret.
Why were we so excited about seeing J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson at the end of Far From Home? One, because it was awesome, but two, because none of us knew. There wasn't even a hint it was coming. So if they can have any kind of surprise, and even if it's not, I don't know, it's not an A-list star, but if it's like, oh my God, that actor, that's awesome.
Chat, would you prefer to know, or would you love to be surprised in the theater? Tell us what you're thinking. Zia, does this poster make you more excited, less excited, change anything for your opinion on Black Widow?
I mean, I honestly kind of feel the same about it. I'm curious to see. I'm excited. I'm sure it's going to be good, but my excitement level for the Black Widow is actually not that high. I know that sounds weird. I like the character. I don't know that I want a movie right now. I'm absolutely going to go watch it, and it might totally take me by surprise. It might be like, oh my God, this is amazing. But I just feel like it's a little too little too late. This is kind of like last phase. We're moving on to other things, but it's fine. Like
Is it because you've already said goodbye to Natasha and it just hurts too much to open up those wounds again?
Now we're going to see this, and then we're never going to see her moving forward unless they keep making previous movies, but it's whatever.
I like this. It feels like a one-shot. Like, it feels like doing... But, like, I love one-shot comics. Sometimes one-shots are, like, little limited series in comics are some of the best stories. And that's what this is to me. Like, we did the big crossover event in this over the summer, but that doesn't mean that, like, somebody didn't still have a good idea for a Widow story, and they went,
right,
yeah, let's do that.
And I'm sure it's going to be great.
You know what it is? I'm thinking about sort of, the way you used to have sort of the monthly comics, and then in the summer you'd always have the annual. And the annual would come out, and it wasn't tied into the stories going on. It was just an extra story. And sometimes it did take place a couple years ago, and I think this is just sort of one of those, like, it's like a standalone graphic novel or something. It's like, hey, check out this story that, we were just so busy we forgot to tell you. And by the way, a lot of people in the chat, Beeping Goat loves being surprised. Langley Neely doesn't need to go, and there seems to be a lot of interest. But Red Dizon specifically says that the poster has piqued his or her interest.
Cool. Well, let's keep moving forward. We're still excited for May, for when we get to see the Black Widow movie.
I thought you meant Melinda May. I'm still very excited for her too.
I am. Who's going? Ming-Na Wen is going to be in The Mandalorian, completing the Disney trifecta. At the hat trick of Disney.
Better than getting an EGOT.
Oh yeah, the white costume. I want to take a look at real quick. Thank you, Ryan. They showed off. This is going to be a costume from Black Widow, and so
I'm sorry. I just the fact that the Star Wars logo is off there on the side because they just Disney owns too much. Yeah, it's like here's a Marvel thing. Like, oh, don't forget we have Star Wars. I don't know. It's just funny to me.
They showed off the actual costume at D23, and what I assume we're going to the north, like to the snow at some point now.
Yeah. It's got to be, because I feel like white is a terrible idea. It's going to be brown by the end of a fight scene. It's like, why would you
What do you think's going to happen during that fight scene that it turns brown? But I think that, obviously, if you're going to have Red Guardian, you're going to be in Russia, you're going to be in Siberia. She's going to need some snow.
But, like, it's before Labor Day. It's fine.
It's way before. It's before Memorial Day when it comes out. So yeah. Wait a minute. That makes it a faux pas. It's after Memorial Day, before Labor Day. Oh my God.
I don't know.
no.
TMZ is going to hate her fashion sense.
What is happening here? But I also have questions as to what is happening because I want to check in with Spidey. There's obviously everyone's been talking about this since last week. We gave you
Spidey.
our thoughts last week, and there's been a ton more news about it as people have finally spoken about it. Tom Holland took the stage because he had to be at D23 because he's in a Pixar movie with Chris
with Star-Lord.
I'm excited to watch
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
He's in he had to take the stage, and he all he said was in that first thing was, "It's been a crazy week," but then he closed it with "I love you all 3,000."
Yeah.
It's like, just break my heart.
He's so cute.
He's
I can't
so
with
cute.
him. He's adorable.
He did say that he did make it clear that he continues to continue playing Spider-Man. This isn't the end of Tom Holland's Spider-Man. We know that Sony has the rights to, but he is basically committed to continuing to play the role.
He looks so young. He can play Spider-Man for so long without aging out of it.
Yeah. I mean, he'll play Spider-Man until they decide to kill him and bring Miles in.
Exactly.
That's literally what's going to
He
happen.
could just retire, I mean, there's that story that's been told before that when Ben Reilly came in, is just just change that story, and Spidey's yeah, I've had enough of this, but Miles will take over, and so then you can always have him standing and waiting just in case you get the awesome team up movie we all want.
Yeah, he says, who knows what the future holds, but all I know is that I'm going to continue playing Spider-Man and having the time of my life. So yeah, he did say this: the future for Spider-Man will be different, but it will be equally as awesome and amazing, and we'll find new ways to make it even cooler. He was talking a little bit about Spider-Man 3. Apparently he's been in the room for the pitches, or at least is aware of what's being pitched, since it's going to be something completely different.
But since he can't keep a secret, are those pitches all fake?
Maybe.
Yeah.
They're just
Very possible.
So the fake pitches are going to be amazing.
That's why I feel so different, because they're all lies.
Yeah.
There was a so with Feige talked about it as well.
Yeah.
The whole thing. And he's saying that he said, I'm feeling about Spider-Man gratitude and joy. We got to make 5 films within the MCU and Spider-Man, 2 standalone films, 3 with the Avengers. It was a dream that he never thought would happen. It was never meant to last forever.
That's not true. There's no way that's true.
So that's what Feige was saying. Yeah. And look, there's a lot of different rumors that have been flying around. None of these have been confirmed. I tried to check sources and see if anything from a legitimate source could confirm these. But I saw things that Sony offered Disney 25%, and it was rejected. I saw one rumor that suggested that Sony said, we'll give you back Spider-Man completely for $10 billion.
Whoa.
Which here's the thing, that's not really that unreasonable of an asking price when you get down to it. Think about the fact that that's a permanent thing. That's not we're going to give it to you for the next 10 years. That's Here's Spider-Man back. You're basically, Spider-Man movies are printing money at that point, and you're not just giving back the Tom Holland Spider-Man. You're also talking about Into the Spider-Verse sequels, the TV shows that they've been developing with Lord and Miller,
Venom
franchise.
All of those characters.
Venom made it was close to $1 billion.
Yes.
On its own, and then you have Spider-Man. So that's 2 movies that made $1 billion. And yes, they don't bring in all of that money, but let's say the Sony keeps half of it. That's $500. That's $1 billion over 2 movies.
Look, Sony's had Spider-Man for 20 years. So if they sold it back right now, 20 years from now, they'd be like, "Oh man, that $10 billion was a steal."
Now, what's going to be really interesting about this going forward will be there are rumors that Sony might get sold in the near future, or Sony Pictures specifically, not the whole company.
To Disney?
No, not to Disney. Not to Disney. Even the government that we have right now might put the kibosh on that much of a merger.
Disney, you're not allowed to own any more things.
Yeah, look, antitrust has to start somewhere. But no, there's rumors that Apple might be interested, and there's a couple things. There's nothing official. That's all conjecture. But the belief with the way that the contract is worded is that were Sony Pictures to be sold, the rights for Spider-Man instantly go back to Marvel.
Wow.
Because of the way that the deal is structured, because it's not a thing that you can it's not a package. You can't just sell those rights to somebody else.
Because Sony Pictures is different than, they bought the rights, but they're 2 different things. They would separate.
It's a way of controlling that you could, Warner Brothers couldn't go buy Sony and then be producing Warner Brothers producing Spider-Man movies.
Right, that makes sense.
That's the kind of thing that you can't that prevents.
Sorry,
So
I just had a flash and started sweating. That made me think Zack Snyder's Spider-Man, and I'm not going to be good for the rest of the show. I might have to leave.
oh boy.
God,
People in the chat are going to hate that, by the way.
But the big thing is that,
that's
like,
funny.
the thing that I really realized about all this is that, like, at the end of the day, you can't really blame either side for this. Like, because when you think about those profits, like that $10 billion, it's both of the people negotiating have to go back to their bosses. Because Disney at this point can put out they decided 3 Marvel movies a year is the sweet spot for them. But if one of those movies is then a Spider-Man movie, even if they split it 50-50 with Sony, that's $500 million less in box office revenue that Disney has brought in, as opposed to just doing 3 MCU movies and knowing that they'll get like $3 billion.
From a business standpoint, within the same month that Disney had to absorb all the losses on Dark Phoenix, they watched Sony make the most money they have ever made on any movie and give none of that to Disney.
5%.
Sure. But, the grand scheme of things, they're like, where's our cut of that? Because that 5%, that's Mickey Mouse points, pun intended. So basically, they're just like, no, we need more of that. Because look, we're picking up all this mess that Fox did.
Yeah.
So I think that, it came at a time where they're like, we can't play nice anymore. And look, Sony at the same time is like, look at all this money we made. We're going to keep it. And we're going to just go make the next one. I think that and I know we need to move on to other things, but the thing that people talk about online and in the chat for the YouTube of this and also for Marvel TV Weekly, because we talked a little bit about this on Sunday, is this notion that in mass people aren't going to go see the next Spider-Man movie because of any of this. The majority of movie goers don't know any of this. Those that do know, they don't care. If the buzz on the movie's bad, then people won't see it. But if it builds the way it did for most of the Spider-Man movies, enough people will go see it, and then the word of mouth will be that first weekend that the people who are like, I'm not going to see it, I'm # Team Feige forever, they'll go see it maybe on Saturday instead of Friday.
Nobody's real not going to go see it. I don't believe that.
Here's the thing: in the short term, though, are you guys planning on seeing the extended cut that's coming out this weekend of Far From Home?
I hadn't planned on it, but that's not. I mean, no, not really. Actually.
I'm not going to see it this weekend. I don't know how long it's out. If it's out long enough, I would probably go like on a Tuesday afternoon. Yes, because that's when AMC has movies for $6. So that's probably when I would go. Because I saw it twice, but both times were in the same week a couple months ago. So I wouldn't mind seeing it one more time.
Yeah, I might go see it if I can over the weekend. I think I'm going to try because I have AMC A-list, so it doesn't cost me anything.
So you save that $6. Wow, aren't you too fancy?
But so I think I am going to go try to see it at some point over the weekend. And if you guys are not sure, I'll try to put out something on Twitter or wherever that with my thoughts on whether it's worth spending the money on. Unless you have A-list, and then you don't have to spend any more money. You've already spent it. Really,
you've already spent it. But the thing is, you are getting great value. It's fantastic.
Yeah. The other rumor with this is that supposedly this rumor came out again that Tom Holland actually did film a cameo as Peter Parker for Venom, not as Spidey, but as Peter Parker.
I do not hate that.
And that Marvel made them cut it from the film. But now Sony can do whatever they want.
It's true.
I hate that.
We don't really have time to get into that one, but I wanted to let you guys know you can read more about it online. Black Panther 2 was at D23.
Get excited, everybody. Big news.
Ryan Coogler came out, and Feige's there, and they're like, what can you tell us? There's a release date. And then they showed the release date, and it's going to come out May 6th, 2022.
So we have to wait another 2.5 years. That's almost 3 years,
That's
actually,
almost
right?
3 years.
That's
Which
3
is
years.
reasonable, because apparently the film's not even written.
Oh, gosh.
It's only
okay.
it's a treatment phase. My bet is that they may have made it and then gone, or like written it and then had to go back and rework it. That happens sometimes. Like either you go down a path and you're like, actually, this isn't the strongest story. I have a better idea. Then you start over. So they have time. They have plenty of time. I'm still holding out hope that like that Two Kings title that leaked out a while ago comes true, and we do get like a Namor v.
Oh God, yeah.
Like Atlantis v. Wakanda battle, like Namor versus T'Challa.
That would be so
I mean,
cool.
I would love to see that fight.
It would be epic.
So cool.
Let's keep going forward with Marvel TV time.
I'm ready.
And this is a hell of a Marvel TV time.
Marvel movie news talking TV time.
Okay, so many things to talk about. Let's start. Well, here's the things we have to talk about. We got to talk about WandaVision because they showed us a poster. We got to talk about Falcon and Winter Soldier because they gave us a bunch of announcements. Then they also announced that we're gonna get Disney Plus shows for She-Hulk, for Miss Marvel, for Moon Knight, and they showed us more of What If. But She-Hulk, Miss Marvel, and Moon Knight are officially happening, you guys. Officially. But let's start back at the top with WandaVision, then we'll get into those. WandaVision, which is coming up next year, can't come quick enough, because they showed us this poster for the show, and it's so weird. Look at that freaking poster.
I think legitimately this is the show that I'm the most excited about now. I'm for not only the fact that it looks so awesome and weird, and I think that I was reading something that said that it's going to show like the full scope of her power, which we haven't really seen, so I'm excited for that. But I think I'm the most excited because it also then feeds into Doctor Strange 2, the Multiverse of Madness, and she's going to co-star along with him, and I'm so pumped for this. Sorry, guys.
Well, I agree that of all those shows, you can sort of guess what some of the other ones are going to be like. You might be wrong. Yeah. But this is the one where it's really hard to get a read on what it's going to be until you had this picture, and it's still a little hard, but you know it's going to be something weird and very different. As soon as they named it WandaVision, they were like, "Okay, this is going to be a little different."
They keep saying it's going to be as weird as that name suggests.
Can't wait.
You're like, so if you look at this, like they basically, and you can see it in this poster, they're saying it's going to feel like the Dick Van Dyke Show, like crammed into the MCU.
I mean, if he walks into the living room and trips over the ottoman in the beginning credits every episode, I think it's going to be perfect.
But that might happen. Like this poster alone has like a bunch of weird little like tidbits to it. The TV has that weird red glow around it, like Wanda's powers, like the glow from the TV. Yeah. Like the 50s style TV is red. If you look, and it's casting shadows of these two on the back wall, and if you look at those shadows, two big things stand out. You zoom into it, you can see little horns, like what looks like horns over Wanda's head. It's the classic costume, you guys. We're gonna get the freaking classic Scarlet Witch costume out of the comics.
So excited.
You could also see a hole in Vision's shadow where the Mind Stone would have been.
Right.
And I don't know if that means that we were going to give him, if that's just to like show the Vision like outline more apparently, because like that glow is like a big part of the character, especially this version, or if that's like there's a hole in his heart where on his head
where the Mind Stone.
I mean, who knows where Vision keeps his heart? He might have put it in his head.
Yeah. What if his heart was in his head?
In a way, it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you have that there, and like, I'm so in on this freaking show.
Excited.
It's gonna be so weird. Some more details. There's more casting details. Kathryn Hahn has been cast.
So excited about that. She is so funny.
Yeah,
I love her.
She's great. She's gonna be the nosy neighbor.
So then we're gonna have a nice we're gonna have a nice comedy element to that too. So
oh yeah, this is gonna be part comedy. Like that's the thing. Like they're gonna be cramming sitcom stuff into this as like Wanda has a nervous breakdown. I think.
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
But we have more returning characters from the MCU in this. We're already going to see Monica Rambeau
correct
in this, but apparently we're also going to get Kat Dennings coming back as Darcy. Kat Dennings, who was in the Thor Thor 1 and 2 as like as Darcy the intern.
I'm curious to see how they work that in.
I don't
no
who
idea.
knows? So she's coming back into this, and as is Randall Park, who played Agent Wu in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
He's always good.
Which, I mean, he's literally a sitcom star. So if you want to, be ready for the comedic element, I think it's great that he's going to be on here.
I loved that character in Ant-Man and the Wasp. Like he was a great comedic foil for Scott, and he's going to be back as an FBI agent with these two.
I would love it
Wanda
if he was
and Vision.
as posing as Kathryn Hahn's husband next door to spy on them. That's why she's so nosy. He's like, honey, what did she say?
He could be. I mean, it could just be that all of these people live in a neighborhood together.
Love that. I would love that. He's the across the street neighbor.
I mean, look, if Wanda puts her powers to full use, that could mean that, like, she creates a fake neighborhood where there are other Avengers, like, family people in the neighborhood. And they're like, how the hell did I get here? And he's like, well, you knew Captain Marvel, so now you're here. Also, I think you have powers now because I messed with the reality.
So have fun with that. Here you go.
Before we move on, just a great observation from the chat. Once again, Red Dies On asking, isn't Quicksilver coming back? So if you think about the fact that she's bringing back her lover from the dead, maybe she misses her brother too. And we could see Aaron Taylor-Johnson again as Quicksilver. I'm not holding my breath. But,
I would love that.
It would be cool if that was how they did it. Or
they could just switch him.
You want it to be Evan Peters
with
instead?
With the Evan Peters and just not say anything and be like, here you go.
Well, I'm way more excited about that.
I mean, look, if you I zoomed in on that painting in the corner by WandaVision, there's kind of a bluish blur in that painting.
Hey.
People in the chat are also wondering what about Blue Marvel being in this series. So I don't know if it's based on that painting.
Well, like, there's been a lot of rumors this week about the Ultimates, because this is a rumor that we just don't have time to get into, but there was a rumor that America Chavez might be getting her own Disney Plus series, and now everyone's like, they're going to do the Ultimates on Disney Plus. It's just like, all right, one step at a time, guys.
I love how our minds run away with everybody's get so excited. They're like, oh, there's going to be all these things.
Because we still, like, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier got a poster this week, like, that they showed off at this as well.
Nice haircut, Bucky.
Yeah, Bucky got a haircut. You have you've got that white trim on Falcon, so that but he's not holding the shield in this image.
Yeah.
Note that because he said that he's not going to be playing Captain America. It's going to be the Falcon. Like, he's not changing the moniker, even if he has the shield.
Do you think they're still lying to us?
No, I actually don't think so. And I think that the resistance to the name Captain America and whether or not he accepts that role is going to be the plot for the series, because it turns out that while we won't be getting a necessarily Captain America in this, we will be getting U.S. Agent played by Wyatt Russell in this series. And I have a feeling that like, U.S. Agent is going to end up being an official government super soldier,
right? But without any kind of super soldier serum.
Maybe there's some kind.
That's true.
There's some kind of enhancement. Like, look, they've done enough with these things at this point. But I mean, look, if he's going up, that would be a good foil for Sam, who doesn't have any particular powers.
I just want us to get the comic book accurate U.S. Agent / the Captain was what that originally was when Steve Rogers wasn't Captain America. I love that suit, so I think it would be cool to see them at least recreate it close to that image. Yeah,
I definitely see it. I see this story being that the U.S. is like, well, we need a new Captain America, and they create U.S. Agent to be that role, but he's fighting for modern day America, and which has like look, I'm not gonna get, like, you can argue politics all day, but like is like conflicting, and there's issues no matter which side you're on. Like, it's a complicated scenario. It's not World War II. It's not a clean cut. It's not good guys, bad guys anymore. Yeah. And I think that him up against like what maybe Falcon and the Winter Soldier are fighting for, that dilemma will play out in a big way. And like probably we'll get to a little bit playing with people resistant to Sam Wilson taking the shield, even though it was given. People will be resistant to him having
shield to give? That's the real question.
That might be a plot line.
The U.S. government probably disagrees. That's why I say that.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Sharon Carter and Baron Zemo reconfirmed, even though we already knew they were coming, but you had them there. I'm really excited to find out if Sharon knows that Cap went back to hook up with her aunt.
Maybe they're keeping that from her.
After they made out.
Keep that from her.
Haley Atwell talked about, like, do you think that Steve told her about Sharon at some point.
my God. So I made out with your niece.
He's too honest. He would definitely
would
bring
have
it
to
up.
tell. That's true. He
And
would have to.
this is how I'll describe it. It would eventually turn into a domestic. That was the quote.
Yeah.
Where they would get into a screaming match over it.
The cops would come and be like, "Who? How the hell?"
Not that kind. It means
I
some
see.
different.
Not a-
It's an
gotcha.
argument.
But
It's an
just,
argument.
you know, look, in Steve's defense, he went to her funeral. We know he went to her funeral. It's okay. To
All
Peggy's
right.
funeral.
We have so little time for like
No, there's nothing else to talk about. So good night. Oh, sorry.
She-Hulk, Miss Marvel, and Moon Knight. We don't have to. I wish we didn't pace ourselves.
It's okay,
you guys.
we have next week.
Okay, so which one of these shows are you guys most excited for?
Moon Knight.
Oh my gosh, that's my answer.
I knew
Knight,
it was going to be yours.
Yeah.
But
Moon
because
Knight.
you were so excited about
Yeah.
it, I looked into it. Now I'm excited
And by the way,
about it.
I'm not excited for any of them. I'm excited for
yeah.
all three, but just for me, Moon Knight edges them out, just because I didn't think we would get it. In all honesty,
Yeah.
so that I think is why I'm so excited.
For me, no one is surprised. All about She-Hulk.
I had a feeling.
Very excited that we don't know a ton about these shows. We know that Bisha K. Ali, stand-up comedian, is going to be show running for Miss Marvel. We don't really have any other details about these shows, except for the logos, which look cool. Supposedly Bruce Banner is going to be in She-Hulk, so
Great.
you're going to get Mark Ruffalo
That'll be
in
fun.
She-Hulk in some way. Makes sense. You kind of have to.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, unless Eric Bana works cheaper.
What the things that I like, I really want to know what the tone is for She-Hulk. I've heard that Red Hulk is being rumored.
Ooh.
Like you could see Thunderbolt Ross in She-Hulk.
That would be fascinating.
Which would be fascinating.
Yeah.
It'd be really interesting. Maybe get Liv Tyler back. Who knows? I'd be down for
I'm
that.
not mad at that. Yeah,
That'd be cool.
I like that.
The thing that's really like Miss Marvel, I'm so excited for Miss Marvel. This Kamal Khan Miss Marvel.
Not very familiar with this iteration of this character. at
Kamal
all.
Khan is a teenage Muslim girl from Jersey City who is an Inhuman.
I've been to Jersey City. Sorry.
201 in the
bet.
house.
Gets her powers from a Terrigen Mist because she's an Inhuman, which will be interesting to see how they play with that.
interesting,
I think
okay.
they might make her a mutant. You guys, how ironic would that be?
That'd be cool. I'm into that.
But she takes she's a fangirl. That's the thing that's so fun about her is she's like a voice for us because she is a fangirl for the Avengers. She writes fan fiction about
that's
the
funny.
Avengers.
Okay.
And then she gets
like that.
powers. So that's why she becomes the new Miss Marvel in the comics because Miss Marvel's an old thing. And I think in this one she'll be familiar with Captain Marvel. Question as to whether or not Brie Larson is going to be in the series is up in the air, but we do know that they will at least acknowledge her because the logo has the Captain Marvel emblem.
A couple things. Obviously, on Sunday night on Marvel TV Weekly over on AfterBuzz TV, Zach joined us on the panel, and we talked a lot more about these shows there. If you wanted to catch that, we're getting a lot of casting, and I'm just going to kind of run through them really fast.
Rapid fire.
Rami Malek for Moon Knight, Angie Harmon for She-Hulk, Dylan O'Brien as Moon Knight, or Joseph Gordon-Levitt. But my favorite, Pamela Anderson for She-Hulk.
What?
Yes, please.
No, I'm gonna say no. This is a trained lawyer who can defeat the best of them. I do like Angie
God.
Harmon though. That's not a bad.
She was Barb Wire. I think she could be She-Hulk.
You people
By the
are-
way, no, I don't love that casting. Let's just say that. Okay.
I love that the fact and the Moon Knight is the first one of these shows on Disney Plus that has nothing to do with any movie.
That's a
Like
great
that's
point.
the thing to think about. Like She-Hulk obviously ties to the Hulk. Miss Marvel obviously ties to Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Moon Knight is the first one where they're just like, here's a character that we started on this platform. Let's see what happens now.
That will be very
And
interesting.
that's going to be really interesting. I still think Keanu Reeves as Moon Knight would be dope.
I'm fine with that. That's not a problem.
Yeah.
Real quick, Doom's question corner before we close out. I don't even have time to tell you guys about What If or Avengers Campus. I'm pulling a Feige here.
Yeah.
Avengers
Thanks a
Campus
lot,
at the
Christian.
parks.
Zach.
There's so many things. Just show that photo while I talk
Yeah, that's
of
what we
Captain
have.
Carter, Captain Britain. But Steve Rogers asked us on Twitter, do you guys feel like the MCU will introduce mutants first via the Disney shows or introduce them in a movie? And I just want to yes or no. We don't have to get into reasons today.
I personally think movies.
Movies, definitely.
Yeah, movies. I agree with that. Although
Great question,
I think there might be
movies.
a seed. They might seed something.
That's true.
In a Disney Plus show because they are trying to push them. And as we close out, if you guys want because we talked about this at the beginning of the show, if you want to get 3 years of Disney Plus for the price of 2, go right now onto the D23 membership board, make an account, it's free, and they will send you a redeem code and you can purchase. You have to purchase it all at once.
Right.
So it's $140, but it averages out to over the 3 years. You're committing to 3 years. It's going to be $4 a month
right.
for Disney
and
Plus.
when this
Not
was first
bad.
reported, you had the impression that you needed to be like a paying D23 member, but as Zach said, you just sign up and get it right away. You can be one of the free members. So
Yep.
I think that's great.
I already bought mine. I'm locked into Disney Plus for 3 years now.
Can't be mad about it.
No, but for $4 a month, I get like all this stuff.
So you're already guaranteed season 2 of She-Hulk.
Please. All right, guys. That's going to unfortunately do it for this week here at Marvel Movie News. I've been Zach Wilson, your host. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at @ThatZachWilson. Go there to find out all about the other crazy stuff that I do. Xia, where can everyone find you?
You can also find me on Twitter and Instagram at Xia_Lan. That is XIA_Lan. And I have some other stuff going on too.
And you can find me at ChristianDMZ on Twitter and Instagram. And tomorrow, Netflix will premiere all 10 episodes of The Dark Crystal: Age of Resistance, which is a tie-in to the movie of a similar name. We'll have several episodes of the after show for that over on AfterBuzz TV, already posted immediately at midnight. In fact, I'm going to go tape one right now. So check out that show, and then check out our after show over there at AfterBuzz TV.
All right, guys. This has been Marvel Movie News. Excelsior.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of its owners or principals.